One, if it's faithful, some of mine haven't been. If it's faithful, the one for Shirley Jackson wasn't. It was an attempt to make the effect happen dramatically. But if you're faithful and there's a strong style, then you have to have a good ear. And you have to be able to write in the manner of, to get where that playwright was or that writer and try to get inside those characters. And if they're going to speak your lines too, make the match, make them rise to the occasion. If you're going to change it, if you're going to change the intent of the original writer, which I did on the very last show I ever did, which was Gavin Lambert's Slide area. That was a Joan Crawford attack, and we'd already had Mommy Dearest, and I didn't want to do that. And this was for PBS, 40 years later. So I said, I'll do it if I can make her vulnerable. If it's just Joan Crawford walking all over the man who directed Rebel Without a Cause in fiction, then I don't want to do it. But if I can make it a rising young television guy coming out to Hollywood in the 50s, as they did, like Sidney Lumet, and trying to get in the movies, and this great movie star who wants to do just what she did, but she's slipping. And she's getting very frightened about her looks, frightened about her age. Then I want to do it. And this was not in the story. And they agreed. Then everybody tried to take it back, but in PBS you can't.
When you talked earlier about doing adaptations, about how you would take one approach for if you were going to stay faithful to it, and a different approach how would you make that decision to be faithful or to make big changes? Or?
Well, like with the lottery, if you've just done it, I've seen people just dramatize it, stick it on there. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything. You don't care. I mean, all these people get together and do this terrible thing. If you change the time thing, you find out something about a couple who are just recently married, what it does to their going to bed life. Speaking of the Hay department, Marty Ritt said, because even in the anthology, it's been anthologized twice, I wrote a note to McCarthy, to Al McCleary, saying, I don't know if you can do this, but they ought to be in bed. If the bed part's all right, she ought to be in a nightgown, you ought to be something. And that's in there. Somebody just literally lifted it right off the script and put it in the anthology. It wasn't all right, but they were standing in limbo, and she was in a nightgown. Okay. It meant he was a young man who could have maybe stopped this thing at the scene before and hadn't. And so it made a rift right away because they had to go through this terrifying ordeal.